the issue is I have seen so many people that have failed to understand what the lottery odds picture actually looks like for the Raptors. I'm seeing questions online. What are the chances of us getting this? What are the chances of us getting that? Well, let's put it in a video. Let's put it in the stream, and let's give you the exact answers of the probabilities of where the Raptors can end up based on where they are in the current standings. Easy. Should be easy, but a lot of people have struggled to understand that, the lottery isn't some, magical thing where you can end up anywhere. Like, this is quantified. Every possible outcome for the NBA draft lottery is completely quantified. We know the exact probability of the Raptors ending up in every position. So the people in the who come into these posts and go, there's no way we're going to get the first pick anyway, so why even bother tanking? Like, there is an exact probability given to us on the chances of getting the first overall pick. Oh, we're no way we're going to get top 4 at this point. Yeah, there's actually like a pretty solid chance that we will get top 4 at this point. That's not how it works at all. And people can sort of like, well, what if we fall to like the bottom of the lottery? That also cannot happen. So, hey guys, like this kind of stems from this post here. I don't mean to call out this Twitter user here. It's a fine account. I've seen the post miscount. It's a fine account for sure. But this person, Rap Show Yo, went through the entire. I'll just pull it up here. Rap Show Yo. So I was bored, so I tracked the Raptors picks through 100 Tankathon sims and came up with an assortment of percentages of where the Raptors ended up, where they ended up drafting. I saw this post, and immediately I was like, why? Why did this person do this? Like, okay, look, it's a harmless post. They were just trying to have some fun, do some fun content, I guess, while they were bored. But also, like, this exists. This exists right here. So if you don't know this exists, now you do. The exact URL, tankathon.com/pick_odds. We have the full lottery picture. We have the exact probabilities of each team ending up in each position of the NBA draft. So, in my opinion, simming through the lottery, which is when you go through the lottery page on Tankathon and you sim it, well, first try Raptors first. You sim it 100 times and write down where the Raptors ended up. So first, 9th, 8th, 7th. I don't know what the goal of the simulation was, because the goal of the simulation was likely to determine relative chances for Raptors to end up in every position. Like, that had to have been the goal of running this simulation, to see what the chance of the Raptors ending up in each pick. But 100 spins is not a very accurate sample size, is it? But you don't want to spend way too long. 100 is like fine for, I guess, if you're just bored doing stuff. And there is like certain things that are different about these results. Like, the Raptors only get the first pick 4 out of 100 times here, whereas like in this they get it 7.5. They got it the third pick 14 times here, whereas in this simulation they only got it 8.1% of the time. It's really funny that they did it. Sorry, I started to roast this person, but it's really funny they did it 100 times and still felt the need to write percentages when the percentage is literally just the number, because you did it out of 100. Anyways, they ended up with the 7th pick 20% of the time, which in this they get it 20%. They ended up with the 8th pick 36% of the time, and this one they end up with it 34% of the time. So I think this is a good example of the point I'm going to make here, where the more something, the larger the sample size, the more it will come back to the probability. So, because you're more frequently going to end up on the 7th or 8th pick, I can see why that is the answer, that is the outcome of this simulation that more so reflects the actual pick odds for the Raptors. But, strangely, the ninth happened 14 times, which, yeah, I guess only 13. So, yeah, I guess the point does stand in that capacity there. But the larger you increase your sample size, the more you are going to come back to the probability. So if I flip the coin 10 times, let's say, heads or tails, I might get 5 out of 5. I might get 6-4. I might get 7-3. I might get 8-2. I might get 9. I might get 10-0 for like heads or tails. One of them happens 10 times. It could happen. It probably won't, but it could happen. But, I could get 5 out of 5 as well. But the likelihood of me getting right around 50% in a sample that low is a lot smaller than the likelihood of me getting right around 50%, 50-50, if I flip a coin a million times. The more I increase the sample, the more I am going to be closer to the percentages that line up here. The more, for this. So for flipping coins 50-50. For this, we have the odds here. So I don't know. I just don't think it was necessary to take the time to track 100 simulations when this website exists here. So what we have here is the exact spread of where the Raptors can end up after the draft lottery. Given the current season standings, the Raptors, 3 games remaining, they are 3.5 games back of the San Antonio Spurs in the standings. I could have made sure that's absolutely locked into that position. They are not going to be going anywhere, but I think the Spurs have 4 games left, and I think the Nets have 4 games left. So I guess it's not mathematically certain the Raptors end up with the 7th best odds, but also it's fucking certain. Like, the Raptors are 3.5 games up on the Brooklyn Nets. Was 3 games. Raptors have 3 games left. They're 3.5 games back of the Spurs. They have 3 games left. They're ending with the 7th best odds for the top pick. That's how it works. 7th best odds for the top pick. They have a 7.5% chance of getting the first overall pick. For the people saying there's no way we'll get Cooper Flagg, so what's the point of trying? Well, look, you might get him. You might not, but you give yourself the best chance. And the best chance the Raptors gave themselves in this scenario is 7.5%. But, these positionings matter because Raptors have a 32% chance of ending in the top 4. Whereas if they had, maybe tanked a bit harder, but also like the Sixers lost 12 in a row, it would have been hard to tank as hard as them. They've got a 42% chance of getting the top 4 pick. As a whole for the Raptors, here is how the situation looks. 7.5% chance of the top pick, 7.8% chance of the second pick, 8.1% chance of the third pick, 7.2% chance of the 4th pick. And the way the lottery is laid out here, every team has a chance to end in any of the top 4 positions. So because at a certain point, it becomes likely that one of the current top 4 teams gets bounced out, that would knock the Raptors back. And it would have to knock back one of the top 4 teams, which is why, based on the way this is laid out here, the Raptors cannot possibly end with the 5th or 6th pick under any circumstances. I've seen people come into comments and say, we'll probably end up with something like the 5th or 6th pick. Well, no, because we literally can't get that pick. That is something we cannot get no matter what. Cannot end 5th, cannot end 6th. It's either a 32% chance of top 4 or 19.7% chance of the 7th pick. And like I said, because teams get bumped, the most likely position for the Raptors is 34.1% of the 8th pick, 12.9% chance of the 9th pick, and then very small percentages, 1.3% chance of the 10th pick, and a slightly greater than 0.0% chance of the 11th pick. So I'm going to assume this is less than 0.05 chance of 11. So very, very unlikely here. But why you can just go to these numbers instead of simulating yourself 100 times. Like I said earlier, the likelihood that you get to the actual percentages associated with probabilities here increases with the sample size. And for Tankathon here, they have likely run this simulation for the NBA draft millions and millions and millions and millions of times to determine these exact percentages here. So if you're ever wondering, what are the chances of this? What are the chances of that? All you got to do is go to tankathon.com/pick'em pick odds. You can see exactly the chances of the Raptors ending up in each position. So people ask me, we'll end this off here. Like, where do you think the Raptors will end up? Where do I think they'll end up? Well, based on probability, the likeliest spot is 8th, 34.1. But I can't make a prediction because it's literally all quantified where the Raptors can end up after the draft lottery takes place. Brace yourself. The most likely chance is 34.1% chance of the 8th pick. But then again, that is a far less percentage than 50%. So it's likely we don't end up with the 8th pick. It's just that is the most likely option for the Raptors. So the lesson here is the pick odds exist out there. The second option is I have no idea where they'll end up, but hey, we'll see what happens and we'll cover it right here with Amateur Sports.